So this is a guided walkthrough for day number 13 from the TryHackMe Advent of Cyber 2024 event. And let's get started. So the story is, this SOCMIS was packed with exploits and hacking. Today's threatened app, which allows Ware's car tracking. Mayor malware, no doubt. Well, that's their suspicion. For Glitch and McSkitty, the proof was their mission. So Wares are all about security. The glitch discovers that an app is illegally tracking cars in Wareville. Not many car thefts in the city warrant such extreme measures. He reaches out to McSkitty to investigate and identify how the application is tracking them and leaking users' positions. So what are we going to be doing in today's challenge? So our learning objectives are: learn about WebSockets and their vulnerabilities. Learn about WebSocket message manipulation and how it can be done. So we're going to connect to the machine. So for today, do we need to start the attack box today? Yes. Do we need to start a VM today? Yes. So what we want to do is we want to start up two virtual machines. The first one is this one over here, which is associated with the green start machine button here. Click on it, and that's going to start up the virtual machine. We also need to use the attack box today. So what we need to do is navigate to the top of the TryHackMe page here, and then click on this button here, which is labeled Start Attack Box. So after we start up the attack box, we're going to see that the browser pane, the browser window over here, splits into two panes, a right-hand side and a left-hand side. So the right-hand side has our TryHackMe page, and the left-hand side has the attack box. So the attack box is going to take a couple of minutes to initialize. So let's familiarize ourselves with the technology that we're going to be using in today's task while this loads. So introduction to WebSocket. Introduction to WebSocket. WebSockets let your browser and the server keep a constant line of communication open. Unlike the old school method of asking for something, getting a response, and then hanging up, WebSockets are like keeping the phone line open so you can chat whenever you need to. Once that connection is set up, the client and server can talk back and forth without all the extra requests. WebSockets are great for live chat apps, real-time games, or any live data feed where you want constant updates. After a quick handshake to get things started, both sides can send messages whenever. This means less overhead and faster communication when you need data flowing in real time. Traditional HTTP requests versus WebSocket. When you use regular HTTP, your browser sends a request to the server and the server responds, then closes the connection. If you need new data, you have to make another request. Think of it like knocking on someone's door every time you want something. They'll answer, but it can get quite tiring if you need updates constantly. Take a chat app as an example. With HTTP, your browser would keep asking any new messages every few seconds. This method, known as polling, works but isn't efficient. Both the browser and the server end up doing a lot of unnecessary work just to stay updated. WebSockets handle things differently. Once the connection is established, it remains open, allowing the server to push updates to you whenever there's something new. It's more like leaving the door open so updates can come in immediately without the constant back and forth. This approach is faster and uses fewer resources. WebSocket vulnerabilities. While WebSockets can boost performance, they also come with security risks that developers need to monitor. Since WebSocket connections stay open and active, they can be taken advantage of if the proper security measures aren't in place. Here are some common vulnerabilities. Weak authentication and authorization. Unlike regular HTTP, WebSockets don't have built-in ways to handle user authentication or session validation. If you don't set these controls up properly, attackers could slip in and get access to sensitive data or mess with the connection. Message tampering. WebSockets let data flow back and forth constantly. which means attackers could intercept and change messages if encryption isn't used. This could allow them to inject harmful commands, perform actions they shouldn't, or mess with the sent data. Cross-site WebSocket hijacking. This happens when an attacker tricks a user's browser into opening a WebSocket connection to another site. If successful, the attacker might be able to hijack that connection or access data meant for the legitimate server. Denial of service. Because WebSocket connections stay open, they can be targeted by DOS actions or DOS attacks. If an attacker could flood the server with a ton of messages, potentially slowing it down or crashing it altogether. What is WebSocket message manipulation? WebSocket message manipulation is when an attacker intercepts and changes the messages sent between a web server, a web app, and its server. Unlike regular HTTP requests that go back and forth one at a time, WebSockets keep a connection open, allowing constant two-way communication. This is what makes WebSockets great for real-time apps, but it also opens the door for attacks if proper security isn't in place. In this type of attack, a hacker could intercept and tweak these WebSocket messages as they're being sent. Let's say that the app is sending sensitive info like transaction details or user commands. An attacker could change those messages to make the app behave differently. They could bypass security checks, send unauthorized requests, or alter key data like usernames, payment amounts, or access levels. For example, imagine a web app using WebSockets to handle money transfers between accounts. If an attacker gets a hold of the message before it hits the server, they could change the amount being transferred or even send the money to a different account. Since WebSocket connections happen in real time, these changes would take effect instantly without the user or server noticing immediately. This kind of manipulation can also lead to more significant problems. Hackers can inject harmful code or try to get higher level access. For instance, they might change a message to give themselves admin rights or insert malicious commands to take control of the server. What makes this attack so dangerous is that WebSocket connections often don't have the same protections as traditional HTTP connections, like end-to-end encryption, which encrypts the request body of an HTTP request using JavaScript using an AES key or RSA public key stored in the JavaScript file. If developers don't add vigorous checks like message validation or encryption, it's easy for attackers to exploit these gaps. By tampering with the data being sent, attackers can cause all sorts of damage, from unauthorized actions to full system compromises. The impact of changing WebSocket messages depends on how the app uses them and what kind of data is being sent. Here's a breakdown of what can happen. Doing things without permission. If someone can tamper with WebSocket messages, they could impersonate another user and carry out unauthorized actions such as making purchases, transferring funds, or changing account settings. For example, if a WebSocket manages payment transactions, an attacker could manipulate the transaction amount or reroute payment to their own account. Gaining extra privileges. Attackers could manipulate messages to make the system think that they have more privileges than they actually do. This could let them access admin controls, change user data, view sensitive info, or mess with system settings. Messing up data. One of the significant risks is data corruption. If someone is changing the messages, they could feed bad data into the system. This could mess with user accounts, transactions, or anything else the app handles. This could change things in real time and disrupt everybody's work in circumstances such as a shared document or a tool. Crashing the system. An attacker could spam the server with bad requests, causing it to slow down and crash. If this happens enough, the system could go offline, causing serious downtime for users and businesses. Without good security checks, this kind of message tampering can lead to anything from unauthorized actions to downing of an entire service. Okay, so let's do our exploitation. We need to navigate to this IP address right here. So we're going to copy the address, and then we're going to open up the web browser in our attack box. So go ahead and click on the Firefox icon over here. So the Firefox browser in the attack box is going to take a couple of seconds to start up. Afterwards, we can click into the address bar and then change the IP address so that it matches the one in the description over here, 1010. So this is going to be different for everybody. Just use the number that is there for you. Okay. So this is the Wareville car tracker. So let me see if I can make this a little bit smaller because the interface is a bit cramped. Okay. So we've got the cars over here, and we've got some messages going back and forth, and we can also send messages. So maybe I'm going to send a test message and send it. Okay, so we're glitch. So we sent this message over here that says test. Great. Okay, so now that we see what the app is doing, what we can do is we can look at this inside of Burp Suite. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to copy the IP address over here, and then afterwards we're going to close out our web browser, and then we're going to start up Burp Suite. So we're going to need to start up Burp Suite to complete the exercise today. So go ahead and click on this icon over here in the attack box. Burp Suite is going to take a few seconds to start up. Okay. Afterwards, we're going to click on Next over here, and then we're going to click on Start Burp. After we've done that, we need to adjust a couple of settings inside of Burp Suite in order to get our Burp Suite browser to run properly. So we're just going to dismiss this message here, and then we're going to click on Settings over here. So go ahead and click on that, the Settings button, and then go over to this portion over here, which is labeled Burp's Browser. After you do that, scroll down to this section over here labeled Browser Running, and click on this button here that says Allow Burp's Browser to run without a sandbox. Go ahead and click on that. After you've done that, close out the settings window here, and then we're going to open up the Burp Suite browser. So we're going to click on Proxy, and then we're going to click on Intercept Off. So this is the Intercept On button right here. We need to click on it so that it says Intercept Off. After we've done that, we're going to click on the Open Browser button over here. So this is going to open up the Burp Suite browser, which is connected to Burp Suite and is going to proxy all the traffic from the server to our Burp Suite browser. Okay, so after we've done that, inside the Burp Suite browser in the address bar here, we're going to paste in the IP address from the previous task. We can also find it under exploitation over here. After that, hit enter, and this is going to load up the car tracker app over here. I'm going to make this a little smaller. Okay. So after we've done that, we're going to scroll down, and we're going to see what the task wants us to do. So what we're going to be doing is manipulating the messaging. Following the successful identification of the WebSocket message manipulation vulnerability, Glitch continued testing for other ways to exploit the application. This time, he wanted to see if the messages could be posted on the app could be altered and manipulated. Is it possible to post using a different user ID? Okay, I missed something. So the first part is this over here. Okay, so go back to your browser. So we're going to go back to your browser and click on the track button. So over here, this is the browser. We're going to click on the track button. And burp proxy will intercept the WebSocket traffic as specified as shown below. Okay, so we're going to click on the untrack button. Sorry about that. What we need to do is we need to set up a setting in Burp Suite. So we're going to minimize the browser, and then go over to Burp Suite. In Burp Suite, we're going to go over to our WebSocket. We're going to go over to the intercept button, and then we're going to turn it on. So intercept off, we're going to turn it on, and then we're going to minimize Burp Suite, and we're going to go to the Burp Suite browser here, which is the blue chromium icon. And we're going to click on track for your vehicles. There's a track button here, it's blue, click on it. And then we're going to minimize the Burp browser window, go back to Burp Suite, and we're going to look for the intercept. So the intercept we're looking for is the tracking packet over here. So we just keep on clicking through these requests over here until we see this one over here, which is labeled track. So change the value of the user ID parameter from 5 to 8, and then click on the forward button. So inside of this this packet here, we're going to change the user ID from the number 5 to the number 8. And then after that, we're going to click on the forward button here. Okay, and so we sent that. Go back to your browser and check the community reports. So over here, we're going to, in the attack box, we're going to minimize burp. Then we're going to go over to the Burp Suite browser. Okay, so it looks like it hasn't gone through. If you don't see the traffic, try to click on the untrack button, refresh the page, and hit the track button again. Okay, so we're going to hit the untrack button and then refresh the page. Okay, so the problem here is we're currently intercepting. So in Burp Suite, we're intercepting, so the web page isn't going to update. So what we need to do is we need to minimize our Burp Suite browser, and then go over to Burp Suite. In Burp Suite, we need to turn intercept off. After that, we minimize the Burp Suite, and then we go over to the Burp Suite browser. And then we click on track, and then untrack. Okay, so it looks like the timing is going to be a little bit tight. Okay, so reload the page, then minimize the window, go to Burp Suite. In Burp Suite, turn intercept on, and then minimize Burp Suite. Go to the browser, click on track, and then minimize the browser. Go to Burp Suite. In Burp Suite, manipulate the track packet here so that it says user ID 8. Click on forward, and then turn intercept off. And then minimize Burp Suite. Go to the Burp Suite browser, and we see the message here. Their malware says, I think someone is tracking my car. THM dude, where's my car? Okay. We're going to copy that flag. I think we can copy it. Copy the flag, and then go over to the control panel. In the control panel, copy the flag, close the control panel, go down to the end of the task. What is the value of flag 1? Answer this by pasting in the value of that flag. Click on submit. And then we need to do this last part. Manipulating the messaging. Following the successful identification of the WebSocket message manipulation vulnerability, Glitch continued testing for other ways to exploit the application. This time you wanted to see if the messages posted on the app could be altered and manipulated. Is it possible to post using a different user ID? Okay, so in order to do this, what we need to do is we need to send a message, and we need to send it in the context of another user. In this case, it's going to be the Mayor malware user. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to reset the app over here, reload the page, and then we're going to minimize the browser, go to Burp Suite. In Burp Suite, turn intercept on, and then minimize Burp Suite. Go back to the browser. In the browser, I'm going to send a fake message. I'm really dumb. And click on send. So this is going to be intercepted by Burp Suite. We're going to minimize the browser, go back to Burp Suite. In Burp Suite, there is a message over here to server. It says, I'm really dumb, sender 5. We're gonna change the sender from 5 to 8. And then we're going to forward it. After we do that, we're going to turn intercept off. And then we're going to go back to the web application in the Burp browser. Okay, so did that get picked up? Okay, I'm going to send a test message. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have to repeat that one more time. So we're going to reset the page, then minimize the browser, go to Burp Suite, turn intercept on, minimize Burp Suite, go to the browser, type I'm dumb, and send it. Then minimize the browser, go to Burp Suite. In Burp Suite, we're going to manipulate this so that the sender is 8 instead of 5. And then we're going to forward it. And then we're going to turn intercept off. Then go over to here. Okay. So Mayor malware says, I'm dumb. And then Mayor malware says, I didn't send that last message. What's happening? And then we get the flag. Okay, great. So we're just going to copy the flag. And then in the control panel, copy it. And what is the value of flag 2? Paste in the value of the flag, click on submit. And then we're finished. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of cleanup because we're polite folks. We're going to terminate the machine and confirm that. Then at the top of the page here, we're going to close out the machine information. And to complete the task, all we need to do is click on this last thing over here, which is, oh, it looks like my page is a bit laggy. Hold on. We just need to click on this question over here, which is, if you enjoyed this task, feel free to check out the Burp Suite module. Click on complete. And then we're finished with the room. Okay. All right, so that was a guided walkthrough for day 13 of TryHackMe's Advent of Cyber event. I hope everybody had fun, and if you liked the video, click on like and subscribe on the video. Thank you very much. But until next time, we will see you then.
Hey there, HackerFrogs! Are you enjoying this workshop? Learning new concepts and skills? If so, there's a way you can support the channel, and it's totally free. Just click on the subscribe button below the video. Also, click on the like button. And if you have questions or comments on this workshop, please leave them below the video. Thanks for listening. And now, back to our scheduled programming.